here to an all-new conversation between myself and Andrea Smith. Andrea, you know her as a fitness instructor. She's worked in marketing for many, many years. We met through virtually, I guess we can say we met virtually a year or so ago or something like that. And then we reconnected now, and it was really born out of just having an idea of putting some things together here and talking about positivity, because on social media, Andrea is so positive about how she goes about what she does. And I try to do that as well. So we started to just, I was like, okay, you know what? Let's do this. Let's bring her on. Let's have a conversation. What it's turned into is that like morning talk show that people have already jumped on. We've done 2 of these together, and I get excited to go back and listen to it. People are already excited, all different walks of life from different parts of the country, getting in touch with me saying, I love it. I'm following Andrea now and looking forward to this, that, and whatever. So I will say that whatever I was feeling in our conversation has been, kind of domino affected with other people, Andrea. So welcome back to the show. But I don't know if I should introduce you as something or me as something, as opposed to just saying it's DT and Andrea and we're going to get after it like we always do.
Well, there you go. That's the first time you've said it. So now next time we'll just start it that way.
All right, there we go. So I love how I have the big intro and you're just like, yeah, okay. Because she was ready.
But we're both wearing our Jaguars hats today because it's Victory Monday. So it's important for people to know that we are in full spirit mode.
Yes.
On this glorious week here.
I'm wearing my visor in
love a visor.
Not only of Jacksonville, but of my good friend and a guy who wore a visor better than anybody in Syracuse for football, Scott Schaefer. So he was visor all day. I am also the visor because it's a hat, but it also keeps your head nice and cool when you're down in Florida. And because I shave it so low, it allows my head to still get as tanned as the rest of myself. So
yeah, I have to say that I'm a visor person also, because then your head doesn't sweat.
Right. No, it's very important. And the thing is, and shout out to you, because a lady that can rock a hat, that it's not always easy to find, but I find I feel like every guy should be with a girl who can rock a hat.
Yeah.
Because if she can't rock a hat, or if she refuses to wear the hat, I remember that. I was dating a girl and she was like, oh, when I wear this hat, I don't look cool. I look like a boy. And every time I was like, just put it on, just like wear one of my hats. She complained about it. And I was like, you know what? That should have been my telltale sign to get rid of her. But she's gone now. So that's a good thing.
If she just worn the hat, she might have stuck around.
All you got to do is wear the hat. It's not.
I also think that anybody could wear a hat if they just don't care.
What'd you say?
Like, if she wasn't like, oh, I look ugly or I look like a boy, and she just wore the hat.
Right, just throw the hat on. Let it be what it is. You don't go to a game with you don't go on a date to a game and have a girl not wear the hat. If she's like pampered up and the hair's got to be perfect and she's wearing like heels to the game, no, don't do that. Just go to the game.
Heels to the game. Yeah.
Go with jeans, put the hat on, pull your hair back, put it in a ponytail, do what you got to do. But I feel like that's how it should be. I think women that rock hats are, well, put it this way. If there was a top 10, women that rock hats would be at the top of it, in my opinion, I think.
So far, I've learned you like a Southern girl.
Yes.
Who wears hats.
Yeah.
Who doesn't wear heels to the football game.
Right, because you'll die.
Right. It's a long walk from the parking.
Right.
That's a lot. It's a lot.
A lot to do.
Imagine if it was, if you were going to wear any kind of heel, it would have to be a wedge. It would have to have some stability. Yeah, I feel you on these things.
It's very important. And also,
I actually was not planning to keep my hat on this whole time but I did want to show support for the Jaguars.
Right. And the thing is about the hat, so I have a ridiculous amount of I think between Jaguars and Toronto Raptors, who I started liking them both in 1995 when they came out, if not before when the logo was unveiled. Both of those teams, I believe that I own in a ridiculous amount of merchandise.
Yeah.
But I don't have that hat that you have. And I'm sitting here looking at it going, I want that hat because I love the logo. And that's a big logo. I like the logo to be as huge as possible.
Yeah, it is. It's a nice one. I don't know. It's old though. I have to tell you, I think it's new era, but it's old. I don't even know when I got this hat, but it is a nice hat.
That's how
It's a nice
shiny.
hat.
These ones they don't make. These are like vintage, but they always bring back, just like they brought back the snapback.
Yeah.
Great, because I have them all.
Yeah.
I have the hats that
Oh.
like take over the entire hat. So the logo does. So I have the Magic and I have a Charlotte Hornets one like that.
Do the Orlando Magic still have a team?
Wow. I think they beat my Raptors. They better not have beaten my Raptors.
I have not heard about them in so long, and I'm so close to Orlando. It's like it's crazy.
Wow. You just
Sorry.
you just shots fired on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. I want to let you know that statement was endorsed by Andrea Smith, not by the people at Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora.
That's correct. That is correct. I'm sorry. I'm a little bit more of a Heat fan. I would love to be an Orlando Magic fan.
Are you a Heat fan? Because don't tell me it happened because of LeBron, because that will make me upset.
Okay, it happened because of LeBron, but let me tell you why. Let me tell you why.
Can I drop the
Let me tell you why. I worked for Vitamin Water at the time. I worked for Vitamin Water, and we had just signed a deal with LeBron. He's taken his talents to South Beach. Well, they hired me that year. I was taking my talents to South Beach. Like, together, we were talented in South Beach.
There you go. I mean,
but I did a lot of events with him, and I will tell you this: I did an event with Chris Bosh, and I also did an event with Dwayne Wade. They were just so nice. It was such a fun time to be down there between the three of them, and then have this energy, and everybody's a Heat fan at the time. It was a fun time. So I'm a Heat fan because of that, I would say.
Okay, but you're not. Are you a LeBron fan?
I would have to say not so much anymore.
Okay.
My kid can identify him, surprisingly.
Your kid,
like, he's like, for some reason, can identify him as this, player that he's interested in. But I would say not so much anymore. I mean, I think politically he's come out with some things that I don't necessarily agree with. And I have no reason to be a fan anymore. He's not in my brand anymore, and he's not on my team.
Look at you, spoken like a true general manager. He's not in my brand and he's not on my team. I like that. Look at that. That's like, I mean, honestly, if I dubbed your voice with Jerry Jones, it would have been the same thing. Jerry Jones would have been like, not on my team, not part of my brand, don't have to care anymore.
If I'd walked away from relationships like that in my past, let me tell you something. I would have saved myself a lot of time.
I will tell you this. I call when a relationship is ending, I call it the exit interview.
Oh, yeah.
I do. Yeah. Because have you ever seen the movie? I'm going to ask you this and you're going to say yes, but I feel like a lot of people have. When I watched it, I didn't think anybody had seen this movie outside of like a few saps. I'm a sap, whatever. But The Proposal.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So in The Proposal, when Sandra Bullock fires that guy, and she says, Ryan Reynolds, what is he doing? What is he doing? He's like, he's pacing, he's getting upset, he's coming out. And she's like, don't do it. Don't do it. And she's fired him. And now here's his chance to either save himself and to not tarnish his reputation. And he decides to go off. That's why I call breaking up an exit interview, because I've had the girls that leave gracefully, and I have the girls that are like, oh, well, there's no shot of us getting together again. No. Okay. Well, in that case, and they do exactly what that guy did. And they're like, but like, I hate your mom. You're like your dad, all the key things, and just start going after your manhood, who you are as a person, your career. And I've had a lot of exit interviews where I'm like, don't tarnish your reputation. You could still work in other parts of the city. And then they go, and it's like, just like Sandra Bullock, I'm like, all right, I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. So
I'm definitely not, I definitely was not a graceful exeter in my history, in my past. No? I was probably, I hope any of them, I hope they watch this, because they will laugh. Any of them.
I would hope. See, I don't know. That's not what I got. What I got from you is that you and I have a lot of similarities. And I don't think that we let people walk on us. I think that we've learned not to.
Yes.
We'll do that. But in the past, maybe we were too giving or forgiving.
Yes.
I don't picture you as an angry exit interview, though. That shocks me a little bit, that you're like, you know what? If I'm going, I don't know if I can picture you kind of putting all the stuff on the front lawn.
I don't know if I'm an angry one or if I'm just a sad one. Like, I feel like I was kind of like the girl that, I don't know, like almost like you're losing the game or the race, and you don't want to lose. So you're willing to like do whatever it takes to like not lose the
Well, that's
game. You know
different.
what I mean? I
I'm
feel like I
talking
was more
about
like
women
that.
that are like, you're not a man, you know, like people that come after
Uh,
your
yeah, I'm
career,
not
your
mean.
dog. Yeah, no. That I've had the exit interview like Sandra Bullock
Yeah.
when the guy when it's like, you know, when the guy with her, and then in my case, when a girl's leaving, she's like, if I'm leaving and there's no shot, I'm gonna blow every bridge up. I'm gonna make sure there's no way to get back in the city. I was like you. I was like, let me think about what I can do. How can
Yeah.
we make this better? No,
Yeah.
some of the girls that left me, they left me in the if graceful was a bunch of broken heels in the middle of a desert with makeup running down your face while you're screaming, running at the ocean, then yes, then that was their gracefulness. But
Yeah.
they were lighting fires. They were letting everybody, your friends, your mom, your dad. I mean, everybody was involved in their exit interview. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. I feel like I was always the chaser from the lever.
I was the chaser. And then I got to a point with a couple people where if I'm cleaning in the house and you're leaving the house for good, like forever, and I'm cleaning, you're in like a 0.00001 percentile because I'm typically not putting Tupperware away. And
Right.
if you're leaving while I'm putting Tupperware away, I think only one woman can say that but she was so far gone in what she was saying that I was
Right.
like, can you just leave? And then she would come back in the door, say something. She came back in like 4 times and another thing and another thing. And I was like, honey, I mean, this is very mean and very rude. I wouldn't say this to somebody that I loathe. So can you just get in the car,
Yeah.
take
Yeah.
me home? But yeah, I don't think I'll ever forget the weirdness of that conversation. But it was also a girl that didn't have eyebrows. So I maybe I could
You
have
have some interesting ex-girlfriends. I
no
mean,
eyebrows,
really interesting
none.
human beings, I feel like.
I have dated. If the Joker had a bunch of ex-girlfriends that were locked in Arkham Asylum, those girls would have thought that the girls I dated were crazy.
I mean, so far you've told me some stories that I'm just like, who are these girls?
They're interesting. I will tell you, I can name of everyone I've dated, there was 2 good ones, and bless their hearts. And they're like they're sweet people,
Yeah.
wonderful people, moms now. Just not for me. Like I didn't love them like that, but amazing women, amazing.
Right.
Everybody else, I hope things have gotten better. That's for
Have
the
they?
next
Do you
guy.
know? Do you keep in touch?
No, I don't keep in touch with exes. I am a guy
Okay.
who, if we break up, you're there. One of 2 things happens.
Okay.
You either get deleted from my phone or you get kept on my phone but blocked because there are a few of them that I have to block because I don't trust any part of their business. But the other ones get deleted. And I had a friend that was like, oh, here's Mr. Dan, deletion man, deleting everybody, blocking people. Who's it going to be this week? And I was like, if I date someone who's toxic, why would I want to keep talking to them? Like, he doesn't understand because he was friends with all of his ex-girlfriends. He
Yeah.
would break up, they would break up. He would go on trips with them. He would
Oh,
bake with them and put aprons on. I'm like, you've essentially become like their girlfriend
right.
as their ex-wife.
Yeah.
Like what? And he's like, well, you know, he just doesn't like to, you know, he likes to keep them all around and like hoard a pile of ex-girlfriends. I'm like, but none of them want to kiss you. None of them want to date you. Nobody wants
Right.
to marry you of these women. So
Right.
why are you giving them what I call the boyfriend experience?
But correct. But but is it maybe the opposite where they do want those things, but he doesn't want those things with them? So they're hanging around. So it's okay. It is okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm friends with exes. I've stayed friends with most of my exes. Now, not first by any means.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because obviously you're upset or whatever, but
Yeah.
not at first, but years later. I mean, I'm like, I have exes that are, like you said, they're married now, they have kids, they're, and you want them to be happy. Now, am I hanging out with them? Not really, but
Yeah.
like
No, I'm
I
not friends.
definitely say I'm friends on Facebook, but I love that I mean, it's pretty savage. Delete? I mean, damn.
Well, if you knew what I've seen and what I've dealt with, I'm not deleting a
I
human
think your
being.
pickers off.
I'm deleting like an 8-foot octopus with like teeth. I'm not deleting like a kind-hearted woman who's like, "Oh, I love you," and it just didn't work out. I'm deleting people that genuinely had no eyebrows. drew them on in the morning. It was horrifying to me. She asked me one morning if I wanted breakfast, and I asked her if she was sarcastic because I couldn't tell without her eyebrows. So
I mean, I feel like your picker is way off.
my picker?
Yeah, like I feel like however you choose your girlfriends, it's got to be way off. You'd have this many crazy
This is
type of things.
See, but I don't want to be victim shamed. I don't want to be blamed for this. I have dated people
Mhm.
who I thought they were really good liars. And then when you found out the truth, I kept trying to go back to, oh, she'll get back there. We'll get back there together. And so I fought for that.
Right.
Then in the world of dating apps, when I realized that a ton of the people on dating apps don't know how to communicate, and that's why they're on them, because it takes them 17 days to answer 3 questions. When I meet people, I told my dad, I know what it is. When I meet somebody, I want to be a dad, I want to be a husband in the right situation. So when I meet somebody, I want to give it that chance, right? I want to give
Yeah.
it the opportunity. And if somebody, screws up, does something, I'm like, oh yeah, we made a mistake. I make mistakes. We both make mistakes. I don't want you to judge me on a mistake. I'm not going to judge you. But when it becomes clear, as my one friend Rob Drummond said, he said, if somebody does it one time, it's a mistake. Somebody does it twice, it's a pattern. 3 times, it's who they are.
Facts.
And I have so many crazy ex-girlfriend stories because I stayed after the 3rd time. And that's where I found my thing to be, because I said it to one of my friends actually last year when I was down in Florida. I said, I finally realized what my issue is. When I know it's bad, I don't want to be the bad guy. So I don't want to hurt them, and I don't leave, and then I end up getting hurt. So it was me
Yeah.
learning that not everybody deserves 2 chances, let alone 20 or 80. And so I think in my dating, there's telltale signs in the beginning that you have to watch for. Like
Yeah.
I'm the type of guy, like I'm a chivalrous guy. So,
Yeah.
they always said men growing up, we want one thing. So we meet a girl, we want to jump in bed. That's not who I am. But I've met plenty of women in the last decade that as soon as they met me 2 hours in are like, come back to the house. And I was like, and my dad told me, he said, a girl ever does that to you, she's not going to be your wife. And so that kind of learning that part of it, and then, you know, seeing the telltale signs of, okay, this has happened a few times, or when you're dating someone and they feel comfortable yelling at you like 8 days into knowing you. My dad has always told me, like, if a woman's yelling at you now, you need to run. So
I agree with that. I mean, I think that when you first start off in a relationship, I think both parties, if you're both the kind of people that want what you said, kids, marriage, all that stuff, I think that both parties are so wishful thinking that it's easy to take um infatuation, excitement, and kind of like really think that that's a true connection with somebody. I think it's easy to have kind of that wishful thinking piece of it. And I want to say there's like this meme that I saw once on social media. It's like, therapist asks you, what did you do when you saw the red flags? And then the person's like, oh, I thought it was a carnival. Like, I didn't think it was a big deal, like whatever. And it's so true. I mean, you see these things, and looking, hindsight's 2020, because looking back on that, you're like, oh, you know what? I saw that was happening. I knew that person was going to do that, or I could see something was going to happen, but I stayed in it because the hope, like you said, of those things.
yeah, I would tell you to liken it to a song as you were saying it. I love this song growing up, and I think that's what it's been. I am the king of wishful thinking, which is
I love that song.
Yeah.
Hey, ready for this?
Yeah.
Name the movie that it's on the beginning of.
Oh my gosh, I feel like I've seen it recently.
When Richard Gere's in the car in the very beginning.
Oh, because isn't he in it at the end too?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh my Lord.
You want me to tell you?
No, don't tell me. Let me figure it out.
A classic. Cult classic. Literally love that song though. Let me just tell you. Love that song, and I play it all the time.
Is it Pretty Woman?
Yes.
Okay.
There you go.
There was another one I was going to pick and I couldn't remember it, but
look at us tying in the subject with the subject.
we did it, and then we did it. So yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. I don't appreciate you know, when you have somebody in your life that's like, blame, oh, I'll put it to you like this. I think I might have said this to you, or maybe I didn't say it to you yet, but I have a friend who believes that everything comes in a book. Everything's in a book. And I am the opposite person. I'm a person who believes I should write a book or two, but I don't think everything comes in a book. I don't think you can just like and I don't want to copy. Like if I wrote a book on like how to be successful in business, you wrote a book like how to be a great marketer. I mean, yeah, you want people to follow the tricks of the trade, but put their own spin on it. You have to put you on it, or else who are you? If you're a copy of another person, God didn't make you a copy. And when I tell people not to copy people, I say, look at identical twins. Even identical twins do things differently. They smile differently. One of them's funny. One of them's more serious. Even God made identical twins to not be identical. So he believes everything's in a book. So he's talking to me and he goes, well, you know, you've dated these girls and whatever. And he's like, you know, we talk about the subject a lot, and we don't. He talks about it a lot with me. I'm actually cool not having to talk about it with him. And because I'm good, like until the right person comes along, I'm a self-sufficient guy. I love my dog. I'm extremely busy. I'm not the person that's sitting there going like, where's she at? You know, you hope she shows up, but you're not wasting your life for it.
Right.
He told me, I think you need a dating coach. If you in 2023 want to find the woman, you'll find her. You get a dating coach. He'll give you tips of the trade, do different things to do. And I was like, so basically he's going to give me an algorithm to manipulate somebody. Like, nah, I'm good. And my dad said, whatever happened to fate? So what do you think about people in that respect that believe that you can make someone fall in love with you, or that you can literally go into a new year saying, this is when I'm going to find the love of my life because I'm going to make it happen? I think a lot of things in life you can bring to fruition, but I think love has to happen on its own, unless I'm crazy.
Listen, I'm a firm believer in fate. I post a lot about this kind of stuff too, like vibes and like energy and all that kind of stuff, because I do believe in that. I believe that, you know, now listen, there's, what is it, like 7 billion people in the world or something like that?
Yeah.
Or more, I don't know. The guys don't take that as serious because I have no idea. But to think that there's only one person in this whole wide world, what if they were in another country? Like that to me is probably not right. But I do believe in fate, and I do believe that your soul connects with certain people that you meet over the course of your life, you know. And listen, maybe timing is wrong. It could have been the right person at some point in your life and the timing was off. You know what I mean? But I think that, you know, in your heart, when you genuinely connect with somebody. So
Yeah.
I do believe in fate. I also will say that I am the kind of person that reads self-help books, or I don't read, I listen to audio, but I'll do, you know, self-help books or dating books or those types of things in the past. And I think it's people like to hear it.
Yeah.
Don't necessarily think that they need it. I think that people like to validate what they're feeling and validate that someone is hurting them. This is what's happening in your dating and in your life. But I think anytime you go to those books or those audios or you're listening to it, only half of it pertains to you.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden, the next chapter goes and something doesn't pertain to you at all.
Right. You're trying to make it pertain to you.
Exactly. That's the point. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. That's what I was getting to. Yeah. I feel like you're trying to make it fit, all to feel better about your reactions, your feelings, things that are happening to you. You're trying to make yourself feel better about it.
Yeah.
When ultimately, you know the answers to your own questions.
Well, and the thing is, and he said to me, he goes, you know, and I guess this is something he's learned. He's like, you know, with my wife, I love her, but in order to keep the spark alive, I'm not being like a dick, but kind of like a dick, because I know I have to be kind of a jerk to her at times. I was like, I can't do that. Like, I can't think, like, okay, put it to you like this. I played basketball my whole life. Okay. By the way, just hit a half court shot, first try. Thank you. And so there's 3 gyms in central New York where I've had a witness at each one, where I've taken my first half court shot and drained it. Cause I tell people, I believe I can make if I take 5 right now, like if I went outside right now, took 5, I believe I'm going to make one of those 5. I just took one over the weekend. And I said to the coach, I said, the men's basketball team at Bryan and Stratton and Syracuse, Clay Gagan Sherman, his assistant was there too. I said, can you stand under the basket? I'm going to take 5. I believe I'm going to make one of these. I drained the first one and I was like, all right, good night. Everybody have a great day. But going back to that, to the world of, you know, talking about this stuff, and and linking it all back together when he was telling me, oh, I got to be this and I got to be that and I got to play games with her. I play games on a court. I don't play games in life. I can't do that. And in basketball, I played terribly when I was out there and I caught the ball and I had the opening and I had the opportunity and I let it up. I felt good. I'll never forget this game. We were down by like 10 and I was at the left side, like left top of the key on the left hand, shot it, went in, got the ball again, almost the exact same spot, shot it, went in. Then I said to myself, I looked at the clock, I looked at the scoreboard and I said, all right, if I make this 3, we're going to take a 1-point lead. And I thought, I got to make it. As soon as I let go of that one, because it wasn't free, and I was thinking, as soon as it went off my hand, shooters know this, when you let go, you know when it's not good 99% of the time. And I chased it down. As soon as I shot it, everybody that was sitting watching the game saw my face of like, I did as soon as it left my hand, as it was like on the tip of my finger, because I can't think. And I tell people that all the time. When you get on a broadcast, you can prepare for your broadcast, this, that, whatever, and your mind's constantly thinking, but you can't be like, what do people want? What do people want? Oh, I got to make the shot. I got to do this. Right. Oh, I got to be a jerk to this girl. I got to be a dick today. Like,
right.
You
well,
can't.
I mean, to your wife, like that doesn't even that doesn't even make sense to me. I hate to say this, but like I really don't know any wives that are like, oh, it'll keep the spark alive if he's a jerk. Like I don't know anybody who says that.
I feel like if you're a jerk, like you're gonna
that's gonna eliminate the spark for me real fast.
Oh yeah, like I mean, I remember with my ex-wife sitting on the couch and being like, she's sitting over there and I'm sitting here. You could fit a sumo wrestler between us.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at her going like, do you want to sit with me? Do you want to? And I remember I said to her, I was like, so, like, I want, I was like, we're going to be romantic. We're going to have like a nice intimate night, maybe kiss each other. I don't know, something that you should do. And I remember she looked at me and she laughed. And I was like, you better learn how to laugh outside. Because like, I mean, that to me, better learn how to laugh in your outside voice. But I mean, it's just, I can't understand. See, and that's why I feel like you and I are the type of people where whether we've known you for 20 years or today, if you're a dick, then we're like, all right, you can figure it out and maybe we'll talk to you then. But I'll walk as soon as somebody's, I told people all the time, you'll know me because I love to talk and interact with people. I'm not going to scream at them. I'm not going to call them names. You can find out really quick who I'm not fond of. Is if you were walking with me, let's say we're down in Jacksonville, you and I are walking, we're talking, having a good time, planning out the show. Somebody comes up to me and goes, hey, Dan, what's up? And I go, hey, man, have a great day. That's somebody I'm not fond of. If I'm quick and I'm short, that's me. I'm not going to be like, oh, go screw yourself. I'm the type of person where if I was a coach, I do what Scott Schaefer did. This person asks a question, I'll spend 5 minutes. This person asks a question, I'll give a 1-word answer. That's the definitive thing. And this friend that I had, we haven't really seen each other a lot. And he reminded me of why, because he's like that person that's like, I'm going to tell you what you need to do. And then I was like, I don't really think I need a dating coach. I think I know what I'm doing. I think I, have learned from my mistakes. And then he's the friend that'll go, yeah, but this is what you're going to get from the dating coach. And he'll keep saying it until you agree. And I was like, I think you just need to kind of give it up, brother. It's not going to happen.
Well, and I think it's funny too, like when people insert themselves into your life, right? Like, first of all, who's to say that, like, unless you were complaining about dating to him, like, who's to say that you aren't completely happy being single and not even looking for somebody? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But I think there's this whole thing for married people where you think that everybody's out there looking to be just like you.
Yeah. And
like your goal in life is to get all your friends at the same level you are. So then you can all be at the same level. And it's like some people that may be, I mean, I have friends that kids are just not in the equation for them. And their life is fun and they get to go out and do all these things and on a whim, like whatever. And I would never put on her, like, when are you going to have kids or when are you guys going to get married or whatever? It's like, do you.
Yeah.
But, not everybody wants to be like you.
Yeah. And I think that, and it's not even that, it's like the unasked advice. Like, hey, let me tell you how to live. And we were talking about something and then we got there. And then, like I said, he was like, well, we talk about this a lot. I'm like, You kind of bring it up a lot. I don't really want to talk
Right.
about it. And while we're on this subject, before we get it to what we were going to talk about today, we'll find our way there. But here with DT and Andrea, just kind of the open door policy. I do want to ask you about this. So going off of that conversation with him where it was like, I didn't ask you for this, advice. How do you kind of feel about the unasked, and when somebody just kind of comes in and says, this is what we're going to talk about, this is, I'm going to throw you here, because I don't like that. But going off of that, here's the thing I wanted to ask you. People do this to me, not a lot, and the people that do it to me, I don't talk to them. So if you're in my life right now and you wonder why I'm not mean to you but we don't talk as much, think about the last time we talked. People that bring up ex-girlfriends, ex-wives, ex-husbands, ex-boyfriends, when a person comes to me and says to me, oh, did you see what your ex is doing? Oh, did you see she got a dog? Oh, she got a new house. I didn't know your ex-wife was all up into this stuff. I didn't know she liked that stuff. Those people are not friends.
Right.
They're dramatic. And I looked at my life at 37 years old, and I said to myself over the weekend, I was like, I purposely and very sniper-like got rid of all of the drama in my life without even really noticing that I was pulling it out. Some of it I did, but I don't really have anybody in my life on a day-to-day basis, even a week-to-week basis, that's like calling me up going, did you see what your ex-girlfriend posted on Facebook? What do you think about those people? Because I would love to just kind of spotlight that.
Drama seekers.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll be honest. I mean, like I said, we talked about this. I've been married for 10 years. I don't get a lot of that kind of stuff anymore. However, in a similar situation to other things going on in lives, I have had people that are like that.
Hmm.
And more recently, in the last few years, who just, whatever it is going on, they're just up in it. And to me, it's an energy suck.
Yeah.
I I don't have time or the energy for someone to bring their negative shit, excuse my French, to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you might have to bleep that out. Sorry.
There's no FCC on the internet. You're fine.
Okay. I don't though. Like I don't have people similar to what you're saying. I don't have people in my life that bring me drama. You know what I mean? So the few people that are that way and they're constantly seeking that, and and for what? It's because they're lonely in their life or they're bored in their own life. I don't know. But I tend to be, I pull away from that person. Now, I will say this, I'm the kind of person that I don't like to hurt people's feelings in the sense of if somebody's extremely nice to me all the time, and I've had this happen more recently, it is very hard for me, even though I can feel their toxic energy, I can feel the way they are. It is
Yeah.
very hard for me to outright just be like, not talking to you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um,
I'm with you.
but I keep my distance. I will tell you that much.
Yeah. I mean, and my thing is, and I do too. I mean, there's people that I talk to like all the time, every day.
Yeah.
And now we don't talk that much. But I've warned the person twice. I've said, hey, and I've never been mean. I've said, hey, you mentioned my ex-wife. I don't really get it. Don't appreciate it. It's not that I want to be with her. I just don't see any value in the information. Then all this time goes by. I'm dating somebody. And this is bringing up my ex-wife like years after, like not like the day after. And then I'm dating somebody. We just break up. And I get hey, did you see she bought a dog? Da da da. And I was just like, how many times do I have to? Again, if you do it the first time, it's a mistake. You do it twice, it's a habit. Three times, it's who you are. This person can't seem to help themselves of constantly saying, hey, did you see this X? Did you see that X? Did you see that person? And I was told a long time ago, and I believe in therapy. I believe it's good for everybody. And I was talking to a therapist one time, and he said to me, whenever somebody, be it your mom, your dad, a stranger, anybody, a friend, brings up an ex or something that hurts you, a situation that hurts you, a person that hurts you, ask them one question and one question only. How does bringing this up to me today bring anything positive into my life? What positive thing is this giving me? Nothing.
No.
If you went up to my ex-wife and said, hey, his business hasn't been bigger, he hasn't been more successful, he travels all the time, him and the dog are fine without you. Like, why would you want, I would never, ever want her to feel bad.
No.
Because even when somebody hurts me, I genuinely, I mean, we're human. In the moment, you might be upset, but I never want to hurt somebody else. And if I saw my ex-wife today, I would pray that she's happy, healthy, safe, has her money. Hopefully she's married a great person. Hopefully they have a great relationship. If she wants kids, I hope she has them. I don't have any pain in my heart of that. But when somebody comes to you with that information, I just don't, I don't have time for it. But I'm to the point now where it's like, I picture, like, you know, the West Wing, when they're like always walking and talking in the corridor. I picture myself like this. I'm in the West Wing and I'm like looking at a paper and I'm signing something. Yeah. Yeah. And then they bring that up to me. Hey, Dan, did you hear your next? Oh yeah. No, you have that. You got that bill to do. Like, that's kind of where I'm at.
It's almost like they're seeking some sort of relevancy too, to like stay connected to you, like in that time of your life. You know what I mean? It's almost like they have nothing else to talk to you about.
Right.
Other than this past.
There's plenty to talk about.
But in there, it's almost like that's what they find to be relevant.
Yeah. Well, and I think in some cases, you know, people that have talked to me, they don't seem happy.
Yeah.
I'm the type of person where I'm going to call stuff out. You know, like if I didn't go to a party at this guy's house because I felt like the way his wife treated him, I couldn't sit there and not say, I don't really dig this, you know, like you guys do.
I have friends like that too.
But I'm like, I don't dig it. And bless her heart, this woman could eat M&Ms like they were going out of business. And I love M&Ms. I love them to pieces. But she, you know, during pregnancy, she was like, go get me some M&Ms. And I understand, you're pregnant, you need food, do your thing. And I'm not going to knock anybody for eating what they want to eat. I eat an inappropriate amount of Reese's. So, but I kind of like jokingly said to him, I said, hey man, why don't you just like buy the big bag or buy a bunch of them so that when she asks for them, you don't have to go out like every 2 nights to buy the M&Ms. And he was like, well, then I don't have any time out of the house. And I was like, that's really sad. Like, to me, that's really sad. I saw you look at me with judgment when I said that woman ate a ton of M&Ms, and that's not me saying that you can't. So I want to be clear about that.
Listen, I don't eat M&Ms, but I was wondering where you were going with it.
I know. I
feel like that could have turned a couple different angles, and I really wasn't sure.
I felt the wrath of every woman through your eyes, of a woman going, I'm not allowed to eat anything.
Honestly, that and the fact that like my daughter eats nothing but candy for her meals, and I'm already like worried about that. So it's like
you looked at me like I was like what's the guy from Married with Children? That guy. You made me feel like I was that husband. I'm not.
Yeah, right. But I kind of thought we might be going that direction. So I was like,
no,
where's he going with this?
No, because I want M&Ms, and that I don't want to be with a woman who's like, Dan, you can't eat M&Ms. Listen, you shouldn't eat like 50 billion of them. What I was getting at was she was eating them, and every 2 days going, go get me M&Ms, go get me M&Ms. And then I was like, dude, just like buy a bunch. And he's like, well, then I can't leave the house. And that was sad. And then I asked her, what do you do for him? Like, he does all these things for you, and I know all these things he does for you. Just out of curiosity, like, what do you do for him? And her response was, when he's a good boy and he does what he's told, we're okay with each other. And I was like, that's not what I asked you. And your response was, when he does his chores, we're fine. I asked you what you do for him, and you made it sound like he's one of your kids. So that's where I'm like, you know what? I shouldn't go to this house because I'm going to get in trouble. But with all due respect, ladies, eat your M&Ms and I will gladly share them with you. Just please don't eat all of them, because I am that type of person where if you come in my house and I have one more Reese's in my dish and you go to that, I've learned that I have a stash of food that I put out, and I have a stash that I hide, because I have friends that come over that are repeat offenders that will like dig their paws through there. One of the guys knows who he is, and he'll flip through all of the Three Musketeers to find the 2 Twix that I buried, and he won't eat one, he'll eat both, and then I have to go buy more, and I'm not okay with that.
I'm that way over my kids' my kids, they have like these little kid Cliff Bar things for their lunches because they're prepackaged. And I am that way because I have a kid down the street that comes over and he wants to eat the Cliff Bar things. And I'm like, no, they're for, my kid's lunch. So I have to hide them and I have to put them down. And like, it's gotten to where the kid comes over asking for snacks. I'm like, no, go home. Like, I hate to be that way, but people do, like, they make themselves right at home.
Yeah, no, I think a lot of people do that. And I feel like I'm going to be the dad that's going to be like, I'll call the parent and be like, okay, I don't beat
it's uncomfortable, trust me.
I'd be like, I don't beat my kids, but your kid is putting me in a place right now that you need to pick them up. But you
We
need
had that happen a little bit this weekend.
Because I'm not going to hurt them, right? But I feel like I'm Italian and Hispanic. I think that dangling the child over a balcony, letting them know that I'm serious about what I'm talking about. So today I have made women think they can't eat their food, which is not true. And I've threatened to dangle a child over a thing. No, I think, I mean, and I respond very bad. And I feel like when you tell me not to eat something, it's what you want to eat. But I mean, I do want a woman in my life that's like, hey, Dan, should we have 5 Reese's peanut butter cups today? Maybe let's have 4 because I can't have them in the house. I really can't because I don't eat candy unless it's there. I will never eat chips unless they're in the house. I won't eat donuts an entire year. But if you go to Linkport Bakery in Syracuse, New York, and you bring those donuts to my doorstep, it'll be hard for me to not eat them all in the same day.
Yeah, I'm a big believer in don't have it in the house. Whatever it is that you
don't have it,
just don't have it in the house.
Doritos and Oreos are like crack to me. I can't have them in my house.
I think to a lot of people, I think that's a very common addiction.
Right.
Yeah, it's funny. It's society makes it really hard right now because I feel like you can't say what you're trying to say without getting some sort of judgment. But it is okay to be spouse or relationship, whatever, and to, work together to lead a healthy lifestyle. Like that is okay. But unfortunately, if you slightly say it wrong, it appears as if you're saying, don't eat M&Ms.
My brain was like putting an alert in like the red like cop car thing was spinning in my head going, Dan, when you say this, be careful because if you pause in the wrong place, then women are going to be like, what do you mean I can't eat my food? Because I met up with a friend that I hadn't seen since elementary school in 25 years. And I said that similarly. I was like, oh yeah, this one girl, like my buddy's girlfriend, her wife eats all these M&Ms, and she paused and she goes, do you have a problem with women eating what they want? And I was like, wait, I didn't even there was a comma in my sentence. There was a comma here.
Can you back up for a second? Did you just say elementary?
I knew you were going to stop me.
I've just never heard it pronounced.
Because in the South, it's elementary. Yeah. And in New York, it's elementary.
Okay, I was going to say, I actually have never heard it pronounced that way. So I'm going to New York tomorrow. I'm going to use that in a sentence and see if anyone notices.
It's elementary, my dear Watson, not elementary.
Yeah, elementary. Okay.
So, and speaking of Watson, and speaking of that connecting to Sherlock Holmes and movies, we're going to give you our top, because we need to get me out of trouble. We're going to give you our top 10 movies. So the thing is, I feel like you and I are getting to know each other's personalities and we're flowing well together. But even you looked at me like a little internet troll about to pounce. And
no, because I've told you guys before, like I hate to say this out loud because I will get judged for this, but I am one of those people that stays on a diet. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I am not a person who is prone to, eating the sweets or whatever. However, because I'm in the fitness industry, I do feel a little concerned sometimes if I lay it on too thick about eating healthy, being thin, those types of things, because it has a very negative look from a societal, perspective right now in this world. So I was just making sure you don't get in trouble. That's all.
No, if you eat candy and you sit on the couch and you wonder why you're not in shape, man, woman, or beast.
There you go.
Hello. You know what I mean? Like if I know if I want to eat what I want to eat, then I better get my butt up and I better work it the heck off, because if I'm not going to change everything about, like, I can eat salad till the cows come home. I can eat because I put different stuff in it. I mix it up. I make it fun. I ate salad last night. I can eat
Same.
salad all day, every day. I don't care. It's totally fine with me. But I know that if I have like one bag, and no offense to M&Ms, if I have one bag of M&Ms, my body, because I don't eat it all the time, my body, as I'm eating it, will be like this. Like, what are we doing? And then you got to be really careful to not get on a binge, because once you give yourself that little taste again, your body wants it. So all I'm telling
sugar
people,
addiction is real.
Right. All I'm saying to people is if you want to eat M&Ms all day, you got to get off the couch and work it out. Because people ask me, they're like, how did you get fit? How did you make your stomach look the way you wanted to? How did you put yourself? I said, you want to know what I did? I got up and I walked.
Yeah.
I did my crunches. I stretched.
If you want to eat M&Ms and you don't want to, if you want to eat M&Ms and you don't want to be fit, that's cool too. However, don't complain that you're not fit if you're eating M&Ms and you're not doing anything about it. That's all.
It's like, I mean, people say, how did you do it? How'd you do this healthy mind, healthy body? I said, I prayed, I walked, I stretched, I took care of myself. They're like, what would you do? I walked every day. Well,
walking is very underrated. It's very underrated.
My whole body changed. Like I have the muscle in my arms, I have the muscle in my legs. I wanted this to be different. And I wasn't some big dude. I wasn't obese. But it was just like I wanted to tone myself. And so people are like, well, when I looked in the mirror and there were indents and all these pieces here that weren't there before, where did they come from? Putting in the work.
Right.
You can't sit and watch television all day and say, why don't I have six-pack abs? Because you're sitting and watching TV. If you want it, you got to work for it. And I think we live in a society, a microwave society, that tells people if you think you want it, it'll appear. Oh, I want money. And then people go, well, I don't believe in God because I said I wanted money and DuckTales didn't drop that giant coin purse in my lap. If you want, I mean, there's a thing about God where a woman went into the church and she's very faithful. There's like a parable about this. And so she goes into the church and she's sitting and she kneels at the altar. She says, God, my family's hurting. I really need money right now. Can you please give me the money? I don't ask for much. I'm here every week. You know it. Can you please just give me some money? Nothing happens. She comes back a week later. She sits in the front pew, gets down on her knees, prays again. Same prayer. Nothing. Middle of the church. Hey, God, didn't know if you heard what I was saying, but this is what I need. You know, I've been faithful. Last time she comes in, she's not even kneeling. She's standing in the back of the church in the doorway with the door open, screaming at the altar, pointing her finger. God, I've been here. I've been faithful. I bring my family here. I come here every Sunday. I asked you for one thing. Why didn't you give it to me? And she heard a booming voice come through the church that said, you have to buy a ticket first. And I feel like that's what people need to understand. If you want something in life, it's not good enough to want it. Everybody wants things, but I always liken the world to a football stadium. There's 70,000 seats and 22 players. 70,000 people plus 22 want things to happen. But of those 70,000, 22 of them are working toward it. The other 70,000 are saying they can do it better or they want it. Everybody in life has dreams.
Right.
But it's not good enough to stay asleep and think about them. If you're not willing to wake up, get out of bed and do something about it, don't complain.
Well, it's the manifesting stuff, right? Like I do believe in manifesting, but you can't manifest and expect things to drop in your lap. You can't just put things in the universe and expect it to drop in your lap. That's not how it works. Like, it's like, you know, not to get back to dating, but similar. Like, you can't say, like, I want to find the love of my life, but never leave your house. You know what I mean? Because she's not going to come to your doorstep. Right. So
unless she's my mail carrier, it's not
correct. Right. The one caveat, right. But, you know, it's, I know Kim Kardashian gets a lot of slack, but her, you know, nobody wants to get up and work anymore. It's true though. You know, you got to work for things still. It's like people don't become a success overnight. What happens is they put in the work, they believed in themselves, and then all of a sudden it appears to everyone else they became a success overnight.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because people are like, oh, look at what you do, look at that, and it's like, yeah, well, nobody knows that Brad Pitt might have went 10 years acting, and he was on off Broadway, and nobody was paying any attention to him, or the fact that Kevin Hart was in a ton of movies with one line, many years before he became relevant. I mean, he said it. He's like, he was performing at dive bar situation. He's like, I'm in dive bars performing in front of 10 people, and they were all my family. It was my aunts, my uncles, my mom. Like, I mean, he said it. And that's the thing, you know, people make fun of you. It's like, oh, Dan, you did a show. There was 10 people there and 2 of them were your parents. Okay, well, that's how Kevin Hart started. I think I'll be
Yeah.
okay. You
Right,
know,
right.
and why wouldn't you want that's my parents should always be in the audience. They should
Right.
always be there. My best friend should be there. You know, the people that work with me should be there. All my friends should be in that audience. That's how it should be. I'm tired of people shaming people that are doing, if you're out there doing it and you're doing a comedy show and one person shows up, or you got a broadcast and one person listens, or you got a fitness class and one person goes, I'm tired of people ripping on those people because at least we had the balls to do it.
Right. And we're out there trying to make it happen, trying to gain more fans, trying to do those things. I mean, people are bored, man. That's what I have to say. People are
Yeah.
bored.
There's a lot of people not working hard, is what I'll say, because they got way too
They're
much.
not, and they're very judgy of people that are.
Well, they have to be, because if
Because
anybody
they don't have any dreams or any passions of their own.
No, I said, you know what? Why don't I come into your cubicle and shake your cubicle and take your mug and throw it at the wall and say that your wife is ugly and you're stupid and you can't get this and you can't do anything and you should kill yourself. Why don't I come to your cubicle and do that? I can't, because you would be bawling your eyes out on the brink of jumping off a cliff if I said that to you. Most bullies in life, if not all of them, cannot handle being bullied. Hence why they bully. If I look like I'm the aggressor, nobody will come and aggress me. That's how I look at it. But there's those of us that work hard, and I'm here to honor with Andrea today the people that work hard. And if you're not on the top 10 list of our movies, it doesn't mean you didn't work hard, and it doesn't mean
it just means we didn't watch a whole lot of movies this year. That's all.
Yeah, and it also means, and I'm going to tell you right now, I am not going to take anything from Chris Hemsworth, Tessa Thompson, Natalie Portman, Taika Waititi, and the whole gang of Thor: Love and Thunder. But that was by far the worst Marvel movie I've seen in a lifetime. And I saw it 4 times. I put my money where my mouth was. I wanted it to be good. Superpowered Pop, you know, we talk all about these shows. I tried and I tried and I tried and I tried. But that movie did not take from the comics. There was a lot of propaganda in the movie. There was a lot of like pandering toward people. I just wanted it to be a movie about the character. And Thor, God of Thunder, he's not a ditzy bimbo. Like, I mean, and so that movie, I just want people to know I have nothing against the actors, actresses, or anybody that worked on the movie. I will never degrade someone for working their butts off. I personally didn't like it. Maybe you all did. It's not in my top 10. And I know people know I love Marvel, so I knew they were going to flip out when I didn't do it. But I can't put it in my top 10 because I wouldn't put it in my top 100. I can't. So with that being said, I gave it, I think, a 3 out of 10.
Okay.
And I was being generous, but I still like I want them all to come back and do it again, but the God Butcher didn't butcher any gods, and can't really have a game like that. We're going to go from 10 to 1, 10 being the one that we kind of liked, 1 being the one we can't live without.
Still also steep, but keep going.
Well, I feel like your number 1's going to be like Taylor Swift, and she's not a movie. But anyways,
right. It would make it it would make sense, to be honest, compared to my list.
Your number 10, and these include, folks, streaming. So they can be Netflix related. And I don't think that, well, Disney Plus had some, but none of them.
It's included.
Okay. No, Disney Plus had some, but they didn't have any movies that were Marvel. They had TV shows. So
okay, let me preface this. I don't watch a lot of movies, people. I have 2 young children at home. I watch a lot of shows. So things that are broken up into 30-minute to an hour segments are a little bit more. So my top 10 is not going to be, I'm sure there is no Actors Guild that would be agreeing with my list, or any Rotten Tomatoes type of sites agreeing with my list. But I'll tell you what my number 10 is. It is Lost City with Sandra Bullock. And it was silly, it was corny, but she's likable, she's fun, and what's his face is kind of hot. I enjoy him. Channing Tatum, yeah, that's his name. So anyway, I've watched that movie, so I have that as number 10.
Fair. My number 10 is a movie that I didn't know if I wanted to put to my number 10, but of the movies that I did see, I feel like I didn't see as many movies as I thought I saw in the theaters. This one I did see. I wanted it to be good. I liked that it was darker it wasn't as dark as it needed to be. More blood. There needed to be more of a call to action in this movie. And the both post-credit scenes totally screwed with the Marvel Cinematic Universe's multiverse. So I don't know what was going on here. However, I do want to see him come back. I like his story. I like the actor. Shout out Jared Leto. So I'm going to give my number 10 to Morbius.
Okay.
I did like Morbius, and it was just starting to get good when it ended. There was a lot of parts to it, and I love the relationship that he has with the will they won't they, and she ends up being a will they. And I do like, there were a lot of elements to the story that with a little bit of tender love and care, I think would have been better. So that's why it just made it into my number 10. And I try to give Marvel, that whole world, the credit it deserves. So I tried to squeak you in there, Marvel. So there you go. What's your
Didn't
number
see it.
9?
Number 9, I just saw this a few weeks ago, Scream. And the only reason I would say that is because it did bring back some of the original actors.
Yeah.
And from a nostalgia perspective, I enjoyed that.
I can accept that and appreciate that. I did not see Scream, but my number 9 is a movie that came out on Netflix with 2 actors that I like. It wasn't phenomenal, but it was worth watching. Again, gave it over to my mom, and my mom liked it as well. Kevin Hart, Mark Wahlberg, Me Time.
I had that on my list somewhere too.
Well, and I have your number 10 on my list, but I'm not going to say
Okay.
where. Not yet. What's your number 8?
Ticket to Paradise with Julia Roberts and George Clooney. I just like them. So it's really hard for they're just so likable in general as actors.
Yeah.
And I feel like anything they do together would be good. So I watched it and it was cute, little rom-com.
Yeah.
When you have actors like a Julia Roberts who you've been watching for over 20 years, it's like everything they do
Is great.
You're signing up to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, I think my thing, I have that with Robin Williams. I have that with Jim Carrey. I have with Jennifer Aniston.
Yeah, same.
I've also, when people are like, who's your lifetime crush? She's on it. So
yeah,
she's probably number 1. But and she's a beautiful lady, and she's very timeless. My number 8 goes to a woman who I appreciate and an actor that I do as well. And this was on your list. I like this movie. I saw it in theaters. I very much enjoyed it more than I thought I would. The Lost City. So
okay. Yeah,
I'm going to give it some love and some credit. I like romantic comedies. I also realize in dating, when a woman's like, I'll watch anything except for rom-coms, I'm like, well, this isn't going to work out, because life is a rom-com. Life is full of romantic comedy. I mean, I don't think that I think my life is just like a very long, like when you're telling a joke and you got a long setup. I feel like my rom-com has had such a long setup that when it finally hits, I'm like, oh, hell yeah. But
it's not going to work anyway because you like to watch it. So if they say, I don't like to watch rom-coms, right off the bat, that's not going to be fit for you because you like it.
Right. It's like, well, what am I supposed to do? You know what I mean? I remember she's like,
send them home.
The girl said, she goes, I love messy drama. And I'm like, ew to both of those things. Like, I'll watch CSI, but I don't like messy drama. That makes it sound like somebody murdered somebody and didn't clean up the blood right. So,
or Housewives,
which
I love, by the way.
You need to stop, because you and I, we're good. Okay. I think we're becoming the tandem that everybody wants to hear in the morning. So you need to, it's going to make for good radio and good TV, but I'm going to have some issue with you. We're going to have a lot of arguments over that.
It's so normal to like Housewives.
We're going to duke it out.
It's quality television.
Everything you're saying is making my stomach very aggravated right now.
All right, let me go with number 7 then. Okay.
Yes.
Talk about messy drama. I picked for number 7 a super weird movie.
Oh, I think you're going to pick the one I picked.
Deep Water.
No, does start with a D though.
Okay, Deep Water with Ben Affleck. Super weird. And the way it ended, I don't want to give it away if you haven't seen it, but the way it ended, I'll just say I really wasn't clear on who killed who in it. It was just strange, but I do like him, and I am a fan of him, and I'm a big fan of him and J-Lo back together, I have to say, on a whole nother subject, but I do like him, so I wanted to give him the support of watching it.
one of the best things in Hollywood that I hope works out is Ben Affleck and J-Lo.
Me too.
Really
Me
do.
too.
I'm a fan of them both.
Me
Bringing it
too.
together. By the way, if you want to terrify yourself, especially as a single man in dating, I watched a movie and I said to myself, I think there's at least one girl I dated that if I stayed a little bit longer, this would have happened. Gone Girl.
Oh, yeah, I've seen it.
That
was a good movie. That was a good movie with him.
It's a good movie until it touches home base. But yeah.
He's been doing some dark, twisted things, though. You know what I mean? Like, I almost feel like he needs a good rom-com to kind of bring him back a little.
Because Geely was not.
Yeah.
I think that's how he met J-Lo, though, right?
Maybe. So I never saw it, but they got horrible reviews.
Oh, I didn't see it either. But that's, it's like the butt end of a lot of people's jokes.
Yeah.
My number 7, you described it, but it wasn't the same movie. Very creepy. It went to a place I had no idea it was going to go. Completely threw me off. If I had seen it in the theater, which I did, and I saw it when it came out on a streaming service, but this movie was unsettling, kind of a scary sci-fi movie that I didn't anticipate would go there. I thought it was just going to be about relationships and people cheating on each other and like different things and like having a lot of money and like sex with different people. That's what I thought it was going to be about. It ended up being really weird, and it ended really weird. So you described it without describing this movie. It's Don't Worry, Darling.
You know what? I started that and I have not. I got to like the first maybe 15, 20 minutes of it. And then now it's kind of sitting on my list. I hadn't seen it.
Do me a favor, watch it, because I want to talk with you about it.
Okay. I'll watch it this week.
It really this was me. I'm like eating my salad, watching it on the edge of my bed. And I'm like, oh, really? And
is that on Netflix right now?
I think it is. And it was one of those like, should I stop eating my salad? It didn't stop me from eating my food, but
thank God.
But I remember calling my dad going, you should watch this. But I also feel like it's unsettling. Like it's just very, there's a lot of elements in it that I love, and it's very original and it's good, but it really throws you off.
Yeah, I'll have to watch it. I haven't seen that one. Okay. I think you're going to like my number 6. I actually feel like you may have seen it. And you might like it. The Hustle with Adam Sandler, the basketball movie.
Yeah, I was told to watch it. I haven't seen it yet.
Okay, great. Queen Latifah plays his wife in it. He is in a serious role. It is supposedly loosely based on another. I guess the guy that plays the basketball player is a real basketball player. So anyway, I don't know all the details, but I love a sports movie. You know what I mean? Like I love a good sports story. So it's great. You should watch that. I think you'd like it, especially after knowing that you like basketball so much.
I do.
Yeah, shut up.
I do appreciate Adam Sandler. And you know what? If America ever had a queen, it would have to be Latifah.
Yeah, that's true.
I genuinely, her personality, I would marry her personality.
She's very likable in general. She plays a lot of roles, but she also stays cool.
She's funny. She's cool. She's funny. She can give it to you. Like she can dish it and take it. By the way, the movie The Holiday, fantastic movie.
She also is a wonderful rapper, UNITY.
Well, and the thing is, and I was just about to say this, you and I are a graceful age enough to remember Queen was a rapper before she was an actress.
UNITY, that's a unity.
Yes.
I mean, I can play the song for you guys if you want.
Such a good, Queen. I tell people that all the time. I'm like, I'm seasoned enough of a veteran to know Queen when she was a rapper.
For sure.
My number 6 is my first Marvel movie to make my list. And in other years, they would be so much higher. But my number 6, I put it right in the middle because I wanted to like it. Again, it was good. The elements were good, but it was a letdown after Spider-Man No Way Home, which would have been my number 1, but it was in December of last year. My number 6 is Doctor Strange 2, aka Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Because there were good elements in it, I wanted to like it. I'm a fan of the goatee, Benedict Cumberbatch, as you know, but it lost me in places where I just felt like there were too many plot holes. And the best part of the movie was, no, there were plot holes. The best part of the movie, the absolute best part, the thing I was waiting for, involved a scene where we were introduced to people for the first time, and then they were eradicated like nothing. And then I asked somebody who actually was in the movie, in that scene, and I'm sworn to secrecy on a lot of things, but we talked about something, and I go, here's my theory. And he goes, nope. And I was like, so it just sucked? Like, I mean, I was like, really? Like, that's not what I thought. I was like, really? Like, no, this is what it is. I want to give Marvel credit. They're probably doing this, this, and this. And he goes, no, Dan. And so Doctor Strange, you made my list. I'm loving you up, but you got me up for a little bit of a letdown. That's why you're number 6.
See, I haven't seen any of these, which is shocking because I have a son that is into this kind of stuff, but I haven't seen any. But all right, my number 5 is the same as one of yours. It's Me Time with Kevin Hart and Mark Wahlberg. They're funny together. It's likable. They're just funny together. And honestly, like, to me, Kevin Hart, he can do no wrong. He's so good and he's so likable, like in all the characters he plays. And Mark Wahlberg's kind of the same way. I mean, you talk about an actor who can play a lot of different roles, comedy to something serious. I mean, he's something special. I feel like he can play a lot of different roles.
Yeah. Mark Wahlberg, fantastic. Love Ted and Ted 2.
Also another one that we're old enough for, Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch.
Yes. And that's
also started out as a rapper, everyone.
And my friend Mark, and that he knows that's what I call him. His name is Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch. Number 5 for me, I never thought I'd watch these movies because I didn't know how. I'll put it to you like this. Okay. I love Grandmama. And I think that Tyler Perry owes some money to Larry Johnson because Medea looks like Grandmama. And right. I never thought that I would watch the Medea movies because I didn't really know what to anticipate from them. And then I watched 1, and then I watched 2, and then I watched 3, and then it kept going. And I'm confident in my movie screenwriting because I do want to do that at some point in my life. I'm confident that I can like really piece apart a movie as a screenwriter while I'm watching. I try not to, but there was an intro to one of the Medea movies, and I was sitting on the couch, and I said to somebody that had already seen it, I looked right at them and I go, oh, a woman gets beat up by her husband or boyfriend in this movie, don't they? And she looked, it was the intro. It was because wow. I saw that because it was the music, like the montage, the petals falling, and the song by Toni Braxton. I literally said in the first few minutes, it was like the first 2 minutes of it, I said, oh, I know that a woman gets beat up by her husband. I'm going to get really pissed off in this movie because of that. And she's like, no. And sure enough, like in the first 10 minutes, it happens. And
it's a comedy, right?
Well, he does comedies and serious ones, but okay. I knew it just based on the rose petals and the Toni Braxton song. But Medea, you do it right. Tyler Perry, I'm a fan. And he did one for Netflix, and Medea Homecoming was funny as all get out. So I'm going to give it to them in my number 5.
Okay. All right. So this, I'm probably number 4 going to get some slack for because it is a documentary movie with somebody we like, Halftime with J-Lo. I loved it. So I was like a dancer, cheerleader growing up or whatever. So to watch like the scenes of them practicing, getting ready for the Super Bowl and doing like all these great things, I loved it. I loved every bit of it. And I'm a huge documentary fan anyway. And back to the point of, we really want J-Lo and Ben to succeed. Yes. I thought Halftime was really nicely done from a documentary standpoint. So I would highly recommend watching that movie.
Yeah, I want them to succeed so very much. My number 4 is a comedian I never knew I liked until I got invited by a couple to go see him in Syracuse. And he was playing at Funny Bone in Syracuse in Destiny USA Mall. I went in, didn't know anything about him. I laughed harder than I probably laughed at any show I've ever been to in my life. And then I wrote to him. Well, I think I met him after. Oh, I met him after. Talked to him about his sister who is fighting lupus. God bless her. And then I wrote to him on social media. He wrote back to me. Wow. And I went to go see this movie. It is my number 4. I love it. And I cannot believe that there was a reference to Lil Wayne in this movie that nobody else in the theater picked up except for me. And there was all different colors, shapes, and sizes in that theater. There was like a plethora of America there. And I picked up the Lil Wayne thing that apparently nobody else did. The Tiffany Haddish. She was wearing a cop outfit and she was looking beautiful in it.
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. And she looked right at Joe Coy in the movie. And he said, he's like, can we get together? And she's like, yeah. And he's like, can you wear that outfit when we do? She goes, what you think? This is Lil Wayne? So, and I looked around the room going, nobody remembers Mrs. Officer. But anyways, number 4, Easter Sunday with Joe Coy.
It looked cute. I didn't see it, but it looked cute. I saw the previews. It looked cute.
Very good.
All right. Number 3.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Again, this is where my list starts to be like, don't watch movies. Let me remind you guys, I have kids. Okay. Zombies 3. Now, let me say this. Stop.
I haven't seen the first 2.
Listen, let me say, I was like, what the hell is this zombies movies? Like, these kids go to zombies in their high school. Like, what is going on? I thought it was so weird. Let me tell you guys something. Best Disney soundtrack I've ever heard in my life. My kids would get out of the car and I would still be listening. And stop. You're like, you look very confused. It is you know what? There's got to be some parents right now. They're like, I love those zombie songs. Anyway, very good. And listen, the message of it all is
don't eat people.
Don't judge a book by its cover.
Yeah.
Yes. But don't judge a book by its cover. It's a wonderful little message.
Don't date women that stare at walls. So my number 3, I love it. That was so great. That was wonderful. I don't know. That's going to sit in my brain for a while. I'm going to text you about that probably most of today.
Well, there's 3 versions you can watch, 1, 2, and 3. So you can check one out.
I can't. My number 3 is on Netflix. And okay. I didn't know that I would like this movie. I was looking, I'm always looking for new movies. So I always go to Netflix, and my aunt and my uncle that are like other parents to me, Papa Joe and Mary, they're so good at finding Netflix movies. And I haven't been, I'm not going to lie. I've been really not great at it, but I've gotten so much better this year, I think. I'm proud of myself. I found this
an award, like it's an award. I've gotten so much better. I have sat there and I've really looked through the titles and I have read about it.
Because it usually takes me an hour and a half and I end up going to sleep and watching new.
Right.
So my number 3,
okay,
the movie that I found, because I love weddings. I want to crash one. It's not Wedding Crash because this came years ago.
Love that movie though.
I do too. And it's back on Netflix, hopefully forever. So I found this movie. I watched it multiple times. Big shout out to a cast that a lot of people maybe have never seen anybody in this cast before. I thought they were fantastic. I'd watch them all again. Wedding Season on Netflix. Great romantic comedy.
I don't think I've seen it. Who's in that?
There's, oh my gosh, it's a bunch of people that I've never, I knew you were going to ask me. It's a bunch of people I've never seen before. So
okay.
Wedding Season's cast, I'll tell you right now. So it is featuring, let me see here. So the cast is, let's see, Pallavi Sharda, Ariana Afsar, Suraj Sharma. Let's see who else is in the movie. Veena Sood.
Oh, I think I've seen the previews for this.
Damian Thompson played a great role. Ruth Goodwin.
Yeah, I've never heard of any of these people, but I feel like I've seen previews for this.
Oh, well, because it continues to be like one of the most watched shows.
Really?
Yeah, because I should get an award for picking it because people are now following suit. Thank you, gentlemen and lady, for all the peaceful, all the wonderful people that have come and watched this movie. I will watch it again and again. I like it. I think it's a great favorite, and I think that they should release it in theaters. I think it was that good.
Okay. It's on Hulu.
We got 2 more. No, Netflix.
It says Hulu.
Really?
Yeah.
Wedding Season. It's on Netflix. Netflix made it, I think. Don't trust the internet. Stop trusting the internet.
It's Hulu.
It's not Hulu.
All right. Well, that's a thought for another day. To find out which streaming service it's actually on. I'll be looking that up. All right. So number 2, I feel like this one is it would not be a shock to anybody because I feel like it's only gotten good reviews is Where the Crawdads Sing.
Yeah, I was gonna watch that, and that's on Netflix right now too.
It is. It's not a rom-com.
No, it's not.
It's a drama.
Is it good though? Because I feel it's Wedding Season is a Netflix film, as I knew that it was. So there's no way.
Maybe there's 2 wedding seasons.
Well, there's probably
Where the Crawdads Sing is a good story.
Is
there
it
are
like a
some,
suspense movie
a
or?
little bit. I mean, it's a drama. I mean, somebody dies in it. So it's all kind of centered around that. And it goes back in time. So it kind of like it starts with you knowing that something's happened. And then
Okay.
it kind of goes back in time to the main character as a child and kind of seeing the things that happened to them that led all to something else. But it was, based on a book. And I think Reese Witherspoon was one of the main directors on it. So it's gotten a lot of praise. But it also looks like something you might see at like Sundance Festival or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what it looked like to me.
Yeah, yeah. But I recommend it if you like a serious type of movie like that.
Can I tell you what I was thinking the whole time you were describing it?
Sure.
I can't
You're going to anyway. So
I
what?
can't wait to see Zombies 3.
I cannot wait for you to see Zombies 1 and 2, so you know how where Zombies 3 is, where the story picks up.
My number 2 came out on my birthday.
Okay.
I've never had a superhero or anti-hero or any of this come out on my birthday. This one did. One of my favorite actors. Hope I get to work with him someday. Putting it into the world, putting it into reality. I will work with this man someday. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. I liked the movie on my birthday, saw it with my dad, and I said, I need to see it again because it was a little bit confusing. I saw it again. I loved it more the second time, to the point where they need to do a prequel story about one of the characters that was in it. And I would love to write that one, because the actor, this is something DC did better than Marvel, is they have a character that's like Doctor Strange, who's named Dr. Fate. And I thought that they made his powers better and it was more aesthetically pleasing to the eye. Love this movie. Number 2, only because my number 1 is just heads and shoulders above everybody in this. My number 2 is Black Adam.
I didn't see that, but I heard that was really good.
It's almost as good as Zombies 3.
I mean, maybe. I don't know. Maybe. I actually have not seen that, but I did hear that. I'll have to watch that. I feel like my number 1 is pretty
I know
pretty
what you're
normal, but I feel like I know what your number 1's going to be because of what you've been saying this whole time. I'll be shocked if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got to see Black Adam. Okay, my number 1 is, and I feel like this is very common for a lot of people.
It was in
Top
theater
Gun.
for about 8 months. Yeah.
Top Gun. So I actually just saw it. I didn't see it in the theaters, and it's unfortunate. I wish I had seen it in the theater because I think with the special effects and the flying scenes, it probably would have been great on a big screen.
Yeah.
I waited till it came out on Amazon to rent, but I think from another one where the nostalgia kind of takes over. I mean, it was just as good as the original Top Gun.
Okay.
Which I've heard several people say that too. I mean, the story was told really nicely and it brought in a cast of new characters in a good way,
Yeah.
that you weren't left feeling like it wasn't like Saved by the Bell, the new class, where they come in and all of a sudden you're like, who are these people? You know what I mean?
No,
It was good though. It was good.
Yeah, I had never seen, I know people are going to freak out because I'm a movie person, and I think people, come to me expecting, based on what they know about me, that I've seen all these, but I had never seen Top Gun until this year.
The original?
Yeah.
Wow.
And my nickname is Iceman, but not because of the movie, because of X2, X-Men United, where Iceman is actually an iced man. And there's a scene, and that became, so the scene that stuck with me, that became my nickname, and it was actually my first DJ name at Marywood University, was after a scene where Iceman kisses Rogue and she temporarily takes the power of whoever she touches. So as her lips touch his, they kiss, and then she turns and she breathes out cold air and she says, cool. And after that scene, I was like, whatever, I'm Iceman. So I have seen Top Gun. I haven't seen the new one. I do want to see it. It's not because I didn't want to, people. I just haven't seen it yet. It was one of those things where, like, there was people I knew that wanted to see it, and I was waiting for them, and it never happened.
I was kind of in that situation too. I kind of waited, and then I was like, screw it, I want to see it.
And yeah, you got to get to that point. My number 1, I will see. I've seen it twice at the time we're talking. I will see it again. I fight myself on going to see it every day because I just love it. I cried 4 times. I knew I would cry at least once. Fantastic movie. I'm not going to give anything away. I'm a huge fan of the actor that passed away. I was
I
trying to
knew
get
it. I
myself
knew
up to
it.
the point where I was going to cry twice. I was like, I'm
I
going to
knew it.
cry because we're going to lose him again. Like, I had to hear about him dying in real life. I had to lose him on the screen. I love this movie. I love all the actors and actresses in this movie. I would marry Lupita Nyong'o after this movie. I will tell her that. She was gorgeous in this one. Was gorgeous in general, but gorgeous in this movie. So Lupita, flawless as Nakia. Letitia Wright, she is. I'm just going to say that. I'm not going to give anything away. I'm just going to give her that. Appreciate it. Respect it. Angela Bassett, you are a you're a worldwide treasure. You're in an icon.
For sure.
Chadwick Boseman, I miss you. M'Baku, you're awesome.
I feel like you're doing an acceptance speech for the movie right now.
I am.
Like it's like you're living out your biggest dream of your acceptance speech for why you love this movie so much.
Listen, just because you're bitter about zombies doesn't mean you could take away my money. You cannot be my music. I will stay on stage as long as I want to be here. And I would say I missed Forrest Whitaker because he passed away in the first one. So I did miss him. And what else would I say? Chadwick Boseman. God, I would have loved to be his friend here on this earth. I hope I get to be his friend in heaven. Ryan Coogler.
Well, if this speech keeps going on any longer, you're definitely going to be his friend in heaven because he's going to remember this.
Ryan Coogler. I'm happy that Marvel left you alone. And if they didn't, I'm happy that you shut your door because this movie needed to be untouched. And I feel like for the most part, it was. This movie, it's hard for me to walk into a movie and not have expectations. I tried to not have expectations in this movie because I didn't want to be let down. I literally want to go to the theater every day and watch it like it's episodes. Even though nothing new happens, I genuinely could watch this movie every week and make it a part of my week, and I'd be totally okay with that. Fine with spending the $12 or $13. Black Panther, Wakanda Forever.
I knew it. I knew you were going to say that after all of your Marvel ones on your list. I knew that was coming.
Wakanda Forever. How dare you interrupt my speech? But
well, listen, I couldn't put that on my list, although I'm sure it was fantastic because I have not seen it.
Okay.
And I was very clear about the fact that I don't care how bad some of these movies are. They're the only ones I've seen.
No, I know.
So I have to rank what I've seen.
Here's my thing. I come down to Florida a lot. It's the second home of my life, and it's the second home of my show. If it's still in theaters and you and I cross paths, we need to go see Wakanda Forever.
Is it still in theaters?
Yes, it's going to be in theaters until probably at least January.
When did it come out?
It just came out.
Oh, I thought it came out a while ago.
Came out 11/11/22. It's going to be all for Christmas, New Year's, and I would imagine it's going to be there for most of January because January and February don't really come out with a lot of movies.
Yeah. I, for some reason, thought it was already, I thought it was out and already like in the streaming.
And during this COVID time, Disney has shown that they will keep their movies in theaters for like 3 months. They did that with Spider-Man No Way Home, and then they had it in forever, and then they brought it back. Doctor Strange was in there forever. So I would imagine Black Panther Wakanda Forever is going to be in there at least through.
I'm glad to hear it was so good, though, because sometimes second movies aren't as good. So I am glad to hear that it's so good.
And they had to change it because when they were originally writing the script, Chadwick was alive.
Obviously.
So this movie was.
Was he the Black Panther? He's the Black Panther, right? In the first one.
Yes.
So if he dies, then does somebody else take over Black Panther?
They're going to have to watch it.
Okay.
They're going to have to watch it and see. But no, this was. There was so many things in this movie that were good. And the more I listen to it, the more I like Rihanna's song "Lift Me Up," which is from Black Panther soundtrack.
I saw that, or when I was doing all my music stuff, I saw that.
And when we do our top 10 songs, that's going to be on there. It has to be for mine because it like makes you want to cry every time.
Mine is a musical.
I can't listen to it if I'm not in that headspace. Like if I don't want to cry, driving.
So you're definitely one of those people that gets in the car and you have to be in the mood for the sad music because then you can really like. Yeah. I get like this. Like I only want to play one of my sad playlists if I'm in the mood to be sad.
Right.
I want to feel it. Like I want to feel.
Yeah, I want all the feelings. Like I love country music, but I can't listen to country music if I'm not in that frame of mind.
I got 2 country songs on my list too, by the way.
Well, I'm happy that it's not all Taylor Swift.
It's
So,
not all Taylor Swift.
but yeah, no, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. Genuinely, I can't say enough about it. And I own a lot of Black Panther merchandise. I became a fan of the character Black Panther probably about 2 years before the first movie came out. I was
Okay.
getting visibly upset because they kept moving the movie, and I was like, are they not going to make it? Then they made it, and I loved it. And I love the soundtrack. I love it so much that when I ask Alexa to play my favorites, there's a song on it that's not even one of Kendrick Lamar's songs. It's just like the music, and it's actually the same music that they play in the second one when they're going back to Wakanda. By the way, for everybody that might have commented to Ryan Coogler and said, hey, we want to see more of Wakanda, it looks like a beautiful country. They have so many moments in this thing to just celebrate the just like what Wakanda looks like the landscape of it.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, Ryan Coogler, you are incredible, and I hope that they let you do so many more movies at Marvel. If they let you do Thor, it wouldn't have been so whatever it was. So, shout out to
I just hope
what?
whoever's out there that knows somebody who has something to do with this movie, please make sure that they hear this speech, because this has got to be probably one of the most iconic acceptance speeches for someone who has nothing to do with the movie that's ever been told.
I will work on a Marvel movie someday, and we're going to remember this moment. And you know what? I out of the goodness of my heart will let you come on the red carpet, and I will invite you on my guest list. But you need to back it up a little bit, lady.
Just invite me to the set. I'd love to see what's all going on.
Oh, you're not coming to the set now. You can come to the premiere, but the set is reserved for people that don't give me crap about acceptance speeches.
Oh, I mean, it was just such conviction, so much passion.
Well, when they let me work on Zombies 4, I may not tell you that I'm working on that. So I may just
Once you hear that soundtrack, you're going to be like, I get it. She is right. It is like the music. It's got us going here.
I like Pitch Perfect 1, 2, and 3 because
that's a great movie. That is a great movie.
Love acapella, love the soundtrack. By the way,
that is a great movie.
And every time I walk by it, I need to just buy it. But because I have a bunch of my vinyl, I will put my vinyl track list. I'll put my vinyl record list up against anybody in the world.
Really?
My vinyl records, I need to have the Black Panther vinyl because I don't have it. And it's just all black with the necklace that has his suit in it.
If anybody's out there trying to buy you a Christmas present, you have just told them what you'd like.
Oh yeah, Kendrick Lamar can do no wrong in that soundtrack at all. He can't.
I don't think Kendrick Lamar can do. You're gonna love this. I can already feel it. Kendrick Lamar has a song with Taylor Swift.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying. Just saying. Making good decisions in his career.
And for this episode of Wake Up Call, Kendrick Lamar, Taylor Swift, right over there. That's Taylor. Here's Kendrick. But yeah. I mean, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. I think you're one of my favorite. You're my top 20 all time right now of anything. And yeah, we came a long way from Morbius to Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. But such a great movie. Can't wait for what's to come. Black Panther, good stuff. And they perfectly did something that makes Chadwick Boseman live on forever. And that's probably my favorite part. It is my favorite part.
All right. Well, I'm sold.
Yeah.
I have to see it now. I'm sold on it.
I'm happy I sold a ticket to the Black Panther Wakanda.
I think you've sold it to a lot of people today.
Good. Well, go see the dang movie. People would have been waiting. It's on November 11th. 11/11/22. I was there on opening day, which was also Veterans Day. I was there on opening day. I went to see it again. I'm going to see it when I come down to Florida for Jaguars Cowboys. I'm coming to see it. That's my birthday. That's my Christmas gift to my brother. We're called the Meatballs. So Meatball 1 and 2. It's our birthday gift or our Christmas gift to each other. So okay. I'm taking him to the movie. He's taking me to dinner.
Okay.
And I'm also seeing it with my buddy Ross. So I will have seen this movie at least 4 times. And out of respect for this movie, I will see it more than 4 because I saw Thor 4 times. And that was just because I was trying to find something good with it that I struggled to find. Eternity's in it. And that was cool. So that was
Yeah. You didn't sell me on Thor at all, but you did sell me on this one.
not
I
trying.
think that there's probably some listeners that I've sold on zombies. Just saying.
I love your positivity. So that being said, we went to a lot of places as we always do. This has been DT and Andrea. The open door policy is wide open on this one. We did our top 10 of 2022 for movies. We got plenty coming up with songs and a bunch of other things when it comes to the two of us being together. We have become the show that I want to wake up in the morning and listen to. So thank you to everybody that has come to listen and watch Andrea and I, Andrea Smith, myself, Dan Tortora. We are here on Wake Up Call in the Cafe Kubal Studios. Thank you as always to my better half, I guess I'll say.
I cannot wait to share my playlist next.